everybody. Karyn Bryant here talking with Jordan Leavitt, who is facing Chase Hooper at UFC Vegas. I believe it's 82, the same night that Brendan Allen is facing Paul Craig. It is going to be a really great night of grapplers, and you and Chase are facing each other, which is kind of a cool matchup. What did you think when they first offered him to you?
It was actually pretty exciting because the fight came together in like 3 hours. One of the people from Iridium said like no, and I was like, me and Chase we talk, we're friendly. I was like, if he's okay with it, I'm okay with it. And then Sean loved it, he liked it, and like 3 hours later, it was on. So pretty exciting stuff actually. Very similar styles. I'm not quite sure how it's gonna go yet.
Yeah, you guys are pretty similar. And actually, I just realized, can you scoot over a little bit so that you're in the frame a little bit? Perfect. So yeah, so here's the thing. Like Chase is a really nice guy, and he's been, his last fight was really good. I feel like you two are going to be an exciting matchup. Like I feel like, yeah, on your end, you were probably like, yeah, that guy brings it, I bring it. Like, why wouldn't we want this matchup?
Yeah, like our careers have paralleled a lot. We both got to the UFC a little early. We both don't have the greatest wrestling background. We're both primarily grapplers. We're not like the alpha males. Yeah, we're both overly friendly. It's like weird. Like one of the main struggles for this fight camp is trying to avoid watching like clips of his interviews because like I already like him. I don't want to be liking him anymore. It'll make it hard to fight him.
Well, it's interesting that you say you've already just dropped a couple of nuggets that I want to ask you about. Like you say, you guys got to the UFC early, and I do feel that maybe even more so with Chase, but with you as well. It's the case with all the fighters, right? We see a lot of people developing before our eyes. But so do you think in hindsight now you would have maybe wanted to wait a few fights later before you got here?
I mean, it's worked out super well for me so far. So I guess it's hard for me to be like, woe is me. But I remember my first 3 or 4 fights, I was like, I'm not ready. I haven't even had a striking engagement on the feet yet. Right. I've never been hurt. I've never been cut. And then I got to UFC. There's all these implications, all these consequences. And I'm pretty sure Chase could probably like empathize with that very strongly. And we've been surviving. We've been surviving, getting better. And I guess I'm finally at the mindset where I feel like I belong in the UFC where I'm at. And I think he's in a similar space. So it's just interesting way our careers parallel and how we're kind of like, crossing right now. So
well, you both absolutely 100% belong. I mean, you debuted with a ridiculous like knockout. Like, I mean, that proved you belong. You took out Matt Wyman.
I mean, you'd think so, but for me, like my dream, like 8 years in the making at that point, I was like, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna show my skills, and then like I slammed out Matt Wyman really early, my first knockout like ever, not even like in a fight, not even like even counting the gym, never knocked out anybody. That was my first time separating someone from their consciousness. It was super anticlimactic, and I was like, 8 years for that? And all my fights have been kind of weird. And then the Paddy fight happened, and that was also weird. And my last fight's the first fight where I was like, that was a fight, and I feel like I actually wanted to be there. So
right, okay, that makes sense. Well, it's interesting too because yeah, you've done a lot. Like you're 4-2 in the UFC, but you've already had big moments. Out of those 4 wins, you got 2 performance bonuses, and you got the the holy grail currently anyway of like names everybody wants in Paddy. So I was at that fight. I was over in England, and I'm curious like, how do you process that whole thing to you? Like, it's okay, winning and losing is one thing, right? But that was a spectacle, that whole thing. Like, how do you process what happened there?
I always wondered before I got to the UFC if, like, when the lights were all on me, if it would be overwhelming or if it would be terrifying. I always wondered if I was the type of person that would be, like, scared of that type of situation. And I really liked it. Like getting cheered is really cool. And feeling all the love and support, all that's really nice. But having like 20-something thousand people like boo me was pretty dang cool. It was really surreal. And, then I lost. That was a little sad. But like it was a pretty exciting moment. And it didn't feel any bigger or smaller than any of my other like cage fights. So in terms of like how do I process it, it's just nice to know that like a fight's a fight no matter how many people it's in front of, whether it's in front of 40 people at the Apex or 20,000. it's still just a fist fight, and I'm too busy worried about this guy trying to kill me to worry about the people all around me. So
That's such a great mindset, and I wonder too, because you've admitted there was one of the posts on your Instagram or something where somebody quoted you and you said something like, "Look, I was an awkward kid growing up. I was this, I was that," and I wonder if sometimes that's what readied you for moments like that, right? Like already being a little bit of the odd man out sometimes socially or whatever. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't exactly know everything about your youth, but do you know what I mean? Like sometimes maybe not always being the cool guy and fitting in everywhere made you okay in that moment.
I think you're onto something there. Like, I think it's like when you always have this imaginary audience that's kind of like crippling you with anxiety and all these negative emotions. When you have a real audience, it's like they're not as bad as like the voices in your head telling you you're not good enough, you're gonna suck, you're gonna fail. So then when I have all these random people having these negative opinions about me saying harsh or mean things, it's like, yeah, I say way worse things to myself every day. So it definitely prepared me for it.
It's crazy you say that. I literally I say terrible stuff to myself, and I even said today, I was talking to Rashad, our good friend Rashad Evans, and I even said him today, I was like, if somebody said to me the things I said to myself, they wouldn't be my friend. So why do I say it? I don't know why I do it, and that's a whole other thing. And Jordan, we're not going to get into KB's mental issues right now, but I do want to back up a little bit. Like, what were you an awkward guy? Like, was sports something that helped you like either escape certain things or fit into certain things? Like, why did you even get into sport? What did it do for you when you were younger?
I was always awkward. I think it's because I was like the only boy. My mom got pregnant as a teenager, and then I had two sisters, and they're all very extroverted. And I was like the quiet, like middle child. And then like I went to private school for 3 years, and I went to like public school, and it was like a big culture shock. So I just went more into my shell, and then I joined wrestling, and it was hard, but like it was the only thing I ever done in my life at that point where I was by myself doing something. Mm-hmm. And for like those 6 minutes, it was like, oh, that's just me. It's just me out there. All the failures, all the successes are mine. Yeah. And there was something really freeing about choosing to do something in my life where I was the one primarily in control of how I react to things and what happens. And fighting has really helped me find myself, helped me like get out of my shell, helped me put a lot of things into perspective. About all the worries and anxieties I had that were kind of like driving me to live a life that made me unhappy. That they weren't really that scary when I compared it to like fighting another person or competing and losing in front of my mom and being embarrassed. Martial arts is really just like a pathway of like self-discovery. And I like the person I found through martial arts. I'm very happy with what I see in the mirror. And I think the Jordan of like 10, 15 years ago wouldn't have felt the same way. And I'm just glad that fighting helped me kind of like find out who I am and be happy with what I see.
And you are literally one of the most unique people in the octagon. And I feel like the fact that you twerk, you'll do the split, you'll do whatever, like you're living your best life when you're in there. And it's very obvious, it's really, really obvious. But some of the things that you do that you're celebrating, like make other people go like, what is this dude about? Like they don't get it. And I showed some stuff of yours to my daughter. She's like, this guy's awesome. Like he's funny. He's this, he's that. Like she gets it. You know what I mean? But I understand that a lot of people, when you first twerked, people are like, what am I looking at?
Oh gosh. Like it would be so much cooler if I like planned and like planning all these things to like for attention, but I was I'm always just vibing after the fight, and then like I get backstage and I'm like with the doctor and I'm like, why the hell did I do that? Like, why did I do the dirty dancing lift? Why did I shake my butt? Why was my tongue out? Like I'm like, I want to say that's not me, but maybe that is me. Like when the pressure's on, like we all crack in different ways. That's just the way I crack, and yeah, I'm never quite sure what to expect on fight night. But it's nice. I'll figure it out along with everybody else.
Well, yeah, and so that never happened before. That was literally an in the moment thing.
Yeah, like for the dirty dancing lift, it was like a joke because we were backstage and I should have been warming up for my fight. Right. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we did the lift? And like I almost like got thrown into like the TV in the locker room, and I was like, that's funny. And then like I won the fight. And I looked at like my cornerman Chris Ruff, and I'm like, let's freaking do it, man. And then we did it. But like, it was all just for giggles. We're just like having fun. Like, I try not to make the fighting thing too serious. I feel like that's why I like walk out to funny music. I do silly things. That way I kind of shrink it in my mind, make it just some kind of spectacle.
Well, it is funny, and it made everybody notice what happened and like notice you right away. And the funny thing too is like, if anybody were to pick on you or be like, I can't believe that guy's what is his deal? He's doing a split. Like, what's his thing? Meanwhile, you just knocked somebody out, though. Like, back up a little bit, folks. Like, you just knocked somebody out. So, I think, like I said, you're one of the most unique guys in there, and that must feel really free, because I feel like a lot of people, are playing a role or think they have to be this way. And the fact that you're good at martial arts, you can knock somebody out. You don't have to feel like I got to walk in the room and prove that I'm an alpha guy. Like, you seem very free in there, and that's very admirable.
Oh, thank you. It's just, like when I got into the UFC and I stopped going to school and I decided this is going to be my sole focus, it's like I wanted to like hold on to myself. Like, I didn't want to lose who I was when I got to the UFC, and I see a lot of these fighters, and I see them up and coming. I see them get to the UFC, and they kind of like put themselves in like this frame. Mm-hmm. They start saying things a very popular fighter said, and they're just trying to all fit into this mold. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to do the most exciting, unique thing of my life, like with a mask on, trying to be something else. I'd rather just be me. I'm Jordan walking in. Hopefully I'm Jordan walking out, and that's kind of like the goal. I want to like. I want to enter the sport. I want to do something. I want to kind of leave being me. I want that to be, I don't talk about legacy, that's all super dramatic, but like, I want my legacy to be like, I was myself. I wasn't playing a character.
I love that, because honestly, I have always felt like my approach to what I do on my side of the business is that I want people to know that if they met me out in the street or wherever, the grocery store, whatever, that the girl they meet in the street is the same girl that's hosting the show, because I didn't create a personality. I didn't make up a whole thing. Like, yeah, I don't have time, and I don't know what I would be. You know what I mean? Like, as it is when I'm like doing stuff on IG, like some of the stuff where you're trying to be, I'm trying to be sexy. I'm like, that's work. That doesn't come naturally. Like, I'm more of a dork. Like, I don't know. Whatever. So I get that, and I like that. And I think what's cool is like, I'm curious. Have you? Like, what's your fan base like? What do people say to you that are your fans? Do you feel that you have a different kind of fan base than other people in the sport?
I do. I think the atmosphere that I have, like, among my followers, like among the community I've kind of built, it's like less of like I'm compared to like going to a club and like all you and your friends are dancing and vibing, and like sometimes a different person jumps into the center of the circle, they're dancing, everybody's cheering, we're all just having a good time, not taking things too seriously. That's kind of how it feels like when I'm talking to like my fans and my friends on social media. It's like we're just here for a good time, and we're trying not to make it too serious. And I feel like a lot of people watch fighting as a form of escapism. They want to focus on something else that isn't life. And a lot of fighters join fighting for escapism. We're all just trying to escape something. And I'm just trying to make, I think, if I had to describe like my fan base in one word, it'd be like a break, escape. It's a nice escape.
Nice. I like that. Well, and not for nothing, you hang out with a cast of characters, Jordan, with your Chris Curtises and your Stricklands and these guys. I mean, yeah. So I feel like you guys are this like group of very funny, sometimes socially awkward in a fun way, and sometimes, I mean, look at, we all have done things that make people go, what are they thinking? But at the same time, you guys are winning. You've got a champion in the mix now and everything. Like, I feel like what your squad, like, are you guys just cutting it up and cracking up all the time? Because it seems like you would be.
Yeah, like, it's weird. So when I was at Syndicate, it was me and Roxanne Modafferi. We were kind of like the first people really at Syndicate. Roxy. And she was like my first like UFC fighter friend. And then like Strickland came into town and Chris Curtis came into town. And like, I'm like, oh, I like these guys. And whenever like after trading or whatnot. Like, honestly, I think me and Sean Strickland's relationship could be like reduced down to he says something off the wall and I try to one up him. But no one, I say something way worse, and like I know I win when like I see Sean looking around, like, okay, did anyone else hear that? So I'm always trying to like one up him a little bit because no one expects it in front of the camera. But I'm always just trying to.
Oh no, your voice cut out here a little bit. You're always trying to one up him on camera, you said? Oh no, I can't hear you now. What
I can hear you
happened?
now. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, no, I mean he is.
Yeah, someone called me.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, so if you could just pick the. But so you said so. Sometimes you say something, and Sean is the one that's like taken aback.
Oh yeah, I'm really into hot takes. The people who see me at the PI, we're in like physical therapy. I always just say super off the wall stuff, just so people are like what the heck, you know? Because like I'm pretty like low key for the most part, but like it's kind of nice to say some crazy stuff to see how people react. And I think Sean's in a similar, he's like a similar person like that. So that's kind of how like me and him kind of like started hitting it off. I just say off the wall stuff too.
Well, yeah, I can imagine too, and it's funny because I even notice like just because I'm around so many fighters and things, my sense of humor is different than like quote unquote normal people that I hang out with. You know what I mean? And sometimes things that people would be offended by, I'm laughing at, and I'm like, oh no, oh sorry, I forgot. In this room, I'm supposed to be offended when I'm, you know what I mean? But like, I'm not really. But I think he, you know, and that's the thing about Sean. A lot of the stuff he says, yeah, it's just to kind of see what happens. I think I don't even know if he really means half the stuff.
Oh no, he's actually pretty tame.
Yeah.
Like, especially like it depends on who he's around, but if he's like around normal people, fairly tame person. You know, the moment it's like when the boys are together, it's like we kind of build off of each other, and it gets like worse and worse and bigger and more inappropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, like fighters are like that. It's kind of easy to not take words too seriously when like you're always like beating your friends up and whatnot.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I want you guys to have some levity because what you're doing is so serious all the time, and it's important. How do you think he's going to do against Deacon's?
Oh, I think Sean's got that. I think it would be a very ugly fight, though.
Okay.
I mean, not that Duplessis, like his fights are always kind of like
Yeah.
they're all the most aesthetically pleasing styles, and I think the build up of the fight will be more entertaining than the actual fight. And I mean, I'm just happy to see two African Americans going at it for the middleweight title.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh boy! Well,
The
I'm
two
excited.
black kings getting to work.
Unbelievable. Well, yeah, and I saw. What did I see? Your boy Chris Curtis posted something the other day too. He's like, I got away from myself a little bit, but I recognize it now, and I'm coming back because that guy's full of spirit too. So. I'm excited for you guys. It's cool. I have to feel like the saying, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? Like, has Sean's victory helped motivate the rest of you guys, or like, what has that done sort of for morale, or not that you guys didn't already think your dreams were achievable, but when you see your homie do it, it's really tangible.
Yeah, it really it something changed after Sean won the title.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, the morale went up, but also like a lot of fighters, like on the screen, they seem bigger than life, larger than life. And Sean has always been Sean. He's still going to be Sean. And when you see a guy who's like not doing all these crazy things, in training, he's just kind of living his life, doing what he wants, and just every day getting a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And he almost lost his leg 4 years ago. His story is really amazing. It's like, my life's not as bad as Sean. Like, I could definitely do it too. Yeah. And I remember like when Sean was still like after the fight, but like he was still not back in the States. Monday, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, like Sean did it! It's inspiring." And like it was cool because like I'm like fresh to Extreme Couture, I knew Sean from before, and just seeing like the love that he like found there, like how he really found like his clan and his tribe, was really something special. Because sometimes it's all like a person needs. And Sean's been on his own for such a long time, so it's just been really kind of like a beautiful thing, not to be too dramatic, but it's been inspiring to say the least.
Well, I love it. Well, Randy's a great guy. There's no way that Extreme Couture isn't gonna, his son Ryan's great. Like those, it's a good squad of people over there. I'm happy for him to have found a home there. And yeah, with you being like a born and raised Vegas guy, it's wild. Like it feels like it's kind of rare. But yeah, why did you end up at Syndicate and Extreme? Like there's a lot of places to choose from.
Honestly, like Syndicate was just a quarter mile from my house,
Okay.
and I had just graduated high school, and I was working banquets, and I'm like, okay, I want to train because I want to fight eventually, and I'm like, and my car's a bucket, so like I'll go to this place that's a quarter mile away, and then like I walk into Syndicate, and there's Mike Pyle and Tom Law and Roxanne Modafferi. I recognized all of them, and I was like, oh, this is like a legit gym.
Yeah.
And then I was there for 8 years. And then I very recently moved over to Couture, but I still train with a lot of people at Syndicate.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was at Syndicate because I was like, I got to get in shape before I can go to Couture. And that was just my hope.
That makes sense. I got it. Well, I love it. It's great. Well, anyway, Vegas is an embarrassment of riches between both of those gyms anyway. You know what I mean? There's obviously quality coaching at both places and stuff, but it's nice to see that you have got a squad around you that's supportive and everything and feels like, you got everything firing together. What are you going to wear though? Because you're a stylish man. I want to know what you're wearing for the like press stuff, because when you turned up in England and you got everything. So I'm curious what you're going to be rocking.
Well, it all depends on my walkout song is. I don't want to spoil that, but
Okay.
I've been looking at some leather pants that I'm like, okay, that might be perfect for like the walkout song. But also, like, I might do some, like, early Usher, like, early 2000s Usher type of get-up.
Nice.
I've been pretty excited. I stress out about my walkout songs way more than I stress out about the fights, because, like, that brings the vibe in, that brings my energy.
Yes.
And I've chosen bad walkout songs before. But, yeah, I'm excited for the hairdo I have planned. I'm excited for the clothes I have planned. I think it'd be a spectacle. Hopefully I can win and show it all off. So
Nice. Hey, and by the way, last question. Did you see the Usher show in Vegas?
I did not.
Me
I'm
neither. I
always
heard it
far
was really
behind
good.
on those things. I mean, it's Usher. It's going to be good. He's pretty good, amazing.
Of course. Well, listen, prediction for you and Chase, do you think it's going to go a while, or do you think it's the type of thing where you could finish this quickly? He's got long limbs. You can tie him up with something. He does have very long limbs.
I mean, if it's violent, I hope it's a very short fight. But if it's not violent, I hope we have a fun time. We have some cool scrambles and everything. I mean, I haven't been this happy for a fight since I've been to the UFC.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because he's a person who I know whenever me and him are slated to fight somebody, all of our opponents are thinking the same thing. I just got to stop him from grabbing me. And for once, I'm fighting somebody where it's like, maybe I don't want him to grab me. Maybe I want to strike a little bit. And that's a weird place for me to be. And it's either going to be a very, I think, high energy, herky-jerky striking affair, or I think it'll be some beautiful soft core MMA grappling stuff.
A great appetizer for the main event, which could also literally be the same way you just described. So
yeah, this is just, partner yoga for this main card. And I think it's going to be, I think me and Chase will be a nice little palate cleanser, because then we have a striker and then back to grappling.
Nice. I love it. Well, I'm very much looking forward to it. And I'm just really glad that you had time to hang out and talk with me. So best of luck to you, and congrats already on all your success. But yeah, we will see you against Chase Hooper. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, Karyn. Have a good one.
Thanks.